John Castellanos, and I got a chance to look at Aztech 101's video on America will never accept a Mexican, and also Dstyle's response. And then I got to see Aztec's other video responding to Dstyle. And my opinion is basically kind of mixed up now on this subject. You know, Dstyle made a couple good points, to be honest. I do remember that era because I grew up around that era. So yes, I do remember that, you know, we were all basically heavy Chavez Senior fans. And man, I was like, what, 6 years old, 7 years old when Chavez was fighting. So we were all big time Chavez fans. And we knew Chavez was on his way out because, you know, he was pretty old by that time. I think he was, what, like 38 years old? And, you know, 38 for somebody that, you know, probably didn't do steroids, that's you know, that's not easy to get to. Usually that's around when some of these master boxers start using PEDs, you know, just so they could stay in the game a little longer. But, you know, not to jump on another topic, but like I said, yeah, people really hated the fact that Oscar De La Hoya was even trying to challenge Chavez Senior, but nevertheless, I do remember another thing is that when Chavez fought, when De La Hoya fought Fernando Vargas, people were really they all jumped on the wagon too with Fernando Vargas. You know, and he was a Mexican American, and you know, I don't know if it was just us, the Mexicanos, that were supporting these kind of fights, you know, but because, you know, on the real Fernando Vargas, he had more of a like kind of like a little cholo thing going, you know, and I don't really think the Weddles like that. So, you know, I think the Weddles were more with Oscar. But, you know, after the fight, it was, you know, people were really happy. A lot of people were like, they accepted the fact that Oscar beat that he beat Fernando Vargas. And then we go to the other fight when De La Hoya fought Trinidad. You know, that's when all the Mexicanos jumped back on the wagon. So it's like kind of like, you know, the only thing that we have to keep in mind when you're Mexicano is that you have to choose who you want to please, really. If you want to please the Weddles, you can't be too Mexicano. It's just like kind of like Aztech said that in the end of his video. It's like Jesse Vargas is too Mexicano. Personally, I don't think he's too Mexicano. I kind of think that he's right in the middle, you know. Interesting facts about Jesse Vargas is, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but he had the chance to be an American Olympian, but he chose to be a Mexican Olympian. And you know, his whole life he's been training with the Mayweathers. So you know, that just shows you that he has dual citizenship, you know, because you can't just go into Mexico and be like, oh yeah, my parents are Mexican, so, you know, I'm an honorary Mexican or whatever. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you got to go through the process and become a citizen over there. But anyways, yeah, I think he has like the perfect balance for, you know, he's going to probably like have a lot of support from Mexicans and a lot of support from Americans, you know, white America. And really what it all comes down to is how the media chooses to market you. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of white people like even Canelo Alvarez, you know? Like, he's not a really hated boxer. People are kind of, even, you know, people are kind of mad because he dropped his belt like that and didn't give them what they wanted, you know, a fight with Gennady. But even with that, you know, the people that are hating on Canelo Alvarez are these casual ass fans from Mexico that don't know shit, you know, about politics and boxing and all that, you know, purse splits and, you know, all this little fine details that they don't care about in Mexico. All they care about over there is, you know, I had a long, hard day at work. Yeah, I want to go watch the fight. But they don't know anything like us. You know, we actually go online and research as much as we can, so we could get a, like the full scoop, because you got some people that will just tell you a certain part about the truth, and if you really want to get down to it, you gotta investigate yourself. And so really, my opinion is that it all depends on how the media wants to market you. How the promoter, how far he's willing to take your career. I'm gonna give you guys one last example, and this is a MMA example. And you know what I mean? I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, what does MMA got to do with boxing? No, they're very similar sports, and eventually I believe that if boxing dwindles down to the point it's going down, everybody's still going to need their fighting fix, They're going to need to be able to watch something on TV with contact sports. And what are they going to pick? Probably MMA, you know what I mean? Because of all this bullshit that's happening in boxing. And my example was that basically, look at Nate Diaz. He's one of the Mexicans that if I mean, just alone by his name and the way he talks and stuff, you can barely tell he's Mexican, but he is Mexican. He's Mexicano American, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but that motherfucker has a lot of fucking fans. It's just that the media hasn't marketed him, and UFC hasn't, they haven't pushed him to his full potential but him and his brother have gotten all their fans by, what I mean, just the way they are and stuff like that. And them guys, they sell fights. And, right now at this point, they're one of the two top earners. I know, Nick is on vacation, right? I mean, he hasn't fought for a while because he had a suspension, but you know what I mean. Just look at that. When Nate Diaz fought McGregor, it just seemed like once he won, dude, it seemed like all of McGregor fans, they were just ready to hop on Nate Diaz, switch over. And, that just shows you know what I mean? And that's the kind of Mexicano that's like, he doesn't speak Spanish, but, you know what I mean? To me, I consider everybody a Mexicano, whether you speak Spanish or whether you're Chicano, whatever. To me, it's the same thing because you still carry that Mexican blood, from, the struggle and all that crap. Anyways, basically my opinion. I think we're all entitled to our own opinion, but the good thing is that I think what I like to see is that more Mexicanos are like uploading and giving out their opinion. All right, man. John Castellanos here.